right, guys. It is Wednesday, November 28th. The big play of today, ALQA, up 167% currently. So ALQA, what a monster, what an absolute beast. Today, my funds were settled. Today, I was able to trade on my small account. But unfortunately, I picked the wrong play. I got in on a stock that did not get the big rip I wanted, did not get the big spike I wanted, did not get that big blow up I wanted. And unfortunately, I had my biggest loss of my small account challenge. With that being said, what was my biggest loss of a small account challenge? It was $218. Now, is that account ruining? No. Is that day ruining? Yeah, it kind of ruins my morning a little bit. But you know what? I am proud of this trade. Now, I'm not proud of the loss. I'm proud of the trade, and I'm proud of what I did to get out of this trade. Now, with that being said, as always, I'm going to show you guys my P&L on every single trade from eTrade.com. This is not just some random screenshot that, it's probably off of some paper trading account or something like a lot of people do. This is from eTrade.com with real money, down $218. Now, with this being said, I got in on my play, which was TNXP, which we're going to talk about. I got in at 452, 451, 452, and I got out 20 cents down, 430, 437, 427, 431. So I got down, out a little bit, with a loss, but I was in worse position before. I was down about 500, 600 bucks. Now, with that being said, November 5th was my first trade. November 28th is the current date, so I'm still up 1,123 bucks. Now, my monthly goal was 1,500 bucks, and I was about $170 away from that. Now today, what do we have? I'm a little bit farther, about $400 away from that mark now because I took that loss. With that being said, what do I got to do? Doesn't seem like I'm probably going to be able to hit that monthly goal. I can trade on Fridays, but at the same time, I shot for that goal. I'm coming up a little bit short. It's not like I'm in the red. It's not like I'm losing all my money right here. I took my first loss. I've had 8 trades so far. 8 trades. I've won 6 of them. I've lost 2 of them. All right, so I've won 6 of them. I lost 2 of them. That's a pretty good statistic still, right? That's still a pretty good statistic, and I'll take it. So let's go over this trade first. Let's talk about this trade. Let's talk about what happened on this play. Why did I like this play? How did I find this play? All right, so let's go over it all. So when we kicked off this day, there was a couple different stocks that we wanted to focus on. We were looking at ANY, a previous top gainer, which went on a nice spike. The stock has been out of the last 2 out of 3 days. It was a top gainer. Yesterday it wasn't, but the stock still has great momentum, still has great hype, and you can see a nice spike this morning that brought a lot of attention over on ANY. We were still going to ASNS, the stock that ran 250% yesterday. So ASNS went on a beautiful rip. This is setting itself up on a great potential play for tomorrow on ASNS. That stock has, good potential. And then we're keeping our eyes peeled on, TNXP, which is a stock I traded today. And TNXP, this play came out with a reverse stock split, which we have seen lead to many runs and rips before in the past. And then also, the other stock that got a lot of hype today was the number 1 top gainer right now, ALQA. So what happened? Why did I pick TNXP? Why didn't I play ALQA? Dek, you should have played ALQA. Thank you. I realized that. All right. Now, why didn't I play ALQA? Why didn't I get involved with this one? Well, this stock already opened up with a 65% gap up. Now, a lot of the times, most of the time, and I'm going to teach you guys this in our upcoming lesson, a lot of gap ups, that gap up above 50%, what happened? The stock, usually falls back on down. Usually if a stock opens 60, 70, 80%, what usually happens? The stock comes back on down and ends up crashing because the stock already went on its run. And you guys, if you guys have been in the market for a while, you guys have seen this many times. You see a very large gap up. What happens? The stock usually turns and ends up dumping because it already has gone on a nice big spike. ALQA is one of those 2 exceptions. It was able to hold its gains. It was able to move on up. It was able to get a nice big spike. So if we want to look at ALQA real quick, I just want to break this down. We could see ALQA broke out on a great ascending triangle breakout pattern. This stock did have news this morning. It talked about it wanted to branch off away from its merger and be its own private company, which is awesome. That's great. But this stock, has a very low float at only 3 million in float. This stock right here is getting a beautiful squeeze in an ascending triangle breakout pattern. If you guys don't know what an ascending triangle pattern is, get to our boot camp lessons. As you guys know, really a side note, We explain every single one of these patterns over on tradecaster.com, as you guys know. So get over there, click videos, search Dekmar trades. We actually went in on this on, I believe, bootcamp lesson number 10, I believe it was. So if you guys go over bootcamp lesson number 10, we go over all these patterns. And obviously we have all over 200-hour lessons on each topic, but we've been doing our boot camp, which is starting from zero education all the way up to, the best education of, what I have. So, we have a beautiful ascending triangle pattern. We know at the break of the corner, we get our nice breakout. We get the break of the corner, we get our nice rip. But then what happened when we got up to 375, right? What happened when we got up, actually up to 360? We actually got halted. We got halted right here. And notice what time this is at. This is at 9:48. All right, so we're still pretty early in the morning. We're about 20 minutes in. Now, I personally was leaning more towards TNXP today. Why was I leaning more towards TNXP today? Why was I playing this stock? Why was I more interested on this play? Number one, TNXP, this stock had a reverse stock split. We have seen stocks go absolutely crazy from reverse stock splits. If that's SAEX, stock that goes from $8 all the way up to $32. If that's ALT, stocks that go from $4 all the way up to $36. We have seen stocks go on massive runs and massive rips. On top of that, TNXP, guys, has so much room to run. If it could ever break its 13 EMA at 488, guess what? We have room to run to the 50-day moving average at $6. And if it ever breaks $6, the 200-day moving average isn't all the way until $23, right? TNXP has room to run. It's a low float play, reverse stock split, room to run. All it needs is volume. I love the chart setup. I love the news. I love the previous spikes, or especially what reverse stock splits have brought in. So I definitely enjoyed it. I enjoyed this a lot. So TNXP right here, I wanted to see the stock, go on a nice rip, go on a nice run, and bring in some good activity. So that's why I was leaning towards this play. Now, what time did ALQA get halted again? We talked about 9:48, right? Got halted right around this 9:48 mark. We can actually just look right here on the scanner, and we could see that ALQA got halted at 9:48. It got halted, but right at this time, we also see TNXP. That's when all of a sudden TNXP, if we look back, just shot up out of a cannon right here, and it all of a sudden just ripped right here. And I'm saying to myself, what? I'm saying, wow. TNXP, this one could possibly go on a nice rip. This one could possibly go on a nice pop. This one could be a very nice, spike, right? We got TNXP ripping right now. The same exact time ALQA is ripping. ALQA definitely has more volume. ALQA definitely has more activity. ALQA definitely has more hype. But I think, maybe if traders notice TNXP is on a reverse stock split with all this room to run, we could get a lot of big time activity. And then what happened? What happened is that ALQA came out of the halt and started dropping a little bit. It went from 375, came back down to 325. I'm like, oh, wow, ALQA is starting to lose a lot of attention. TNXP gets unhalted 2 minutes later, and I'm thinking, oh, maybe everyone's getting out of ALQA because people are leaning over to TNXP now. So what happened? Stock gets unhalted. Stock gets unhalted right here. I buy in. I'm one of the few that buy in right here. Boom. Dumps all the way down to 404. Immediately, I'm down, $520 on this play, right? Small account. I'm up $1,500. Now I'm down, or I'm up $1,400. Now I'm down another 500. It's like, wow. It's like, geez, that's rough. You know what happened? I stay cool. I stay calm. I stay collective. I look over on ALQA, and I see ALQA's ripping. I see all volume stayed on ALQA. There was no sort of mob shift. There's no volume shift. No one left ALQA really and came over to TNXP. So what am I saying to myself now? I'm saying, okay, ALQA, TNXP on the other hand, this stock is not going to rip probably as hard. This stock is not going to get that spike. The mob, the big attention, the volume, that's on ALQA. That's the moneymaker. That's the predictable. That's the breakout play. Right now, you took a shot. You took a shot on TNXP. Going for a reverse stock split. You had good reasonings behind it, Dek. You have a good float. You have a reverse stock split. You have room to run. It just never got the attention. You took a chance, and you know what? You missed up. You missed it. ALQA got the hype. What can I do now? I could be mad. I could panic. I could blame someone else. Or you know what I do? Focus on my trade and figure out the best way to come out, on top. So I'm sitting down right now, 500 bucks. I still think TNXP has good potential, so I hold it a little bit. Goes below 390 or goes below $4, I'll get out. I want to give it a little bit of a chance though. This is a pretty, big hold. We have seen these move on up. Starts climbing its way on up, gets back up to 430, falls back down to 410. Okay, holds 410. Starts climbing its way on up, pops all the way back up to 450. Pops all the way back up to 450. What do? I market order out, and you know what? I take a $218 loss. Right? But I didn't, just get out right away. I waited for a nice little pop on up. I didn't lose 500 bucks. I lost 218. I'm still up $1,100 on my small account. And again, that's still pretty solid, right? I started with a $3,500 account. I'm up 1,100. That's not bad at all. It's about 30%, right around that area. So I was able to make a 30% return on my small account within a month. You break it down and you make it sound like that. You're like, oh, that's actually pretty solid. Now, again, before, I'm not trying to say that, this loss was good by any means. It's not. But I'm saying, I'm proud on the fact that I didn't panic. I'm proud that I stuck to my game plan. I'm proud that I was able to limit my loss. I'm proud that, I was able to say, hey, the stock most likely will give it another test, at least a 450. And you could see even later on, at around 10 o'clock, it actually broke and ran all the way up to $5. I could have made money on this. But then TNXP ended up, ultimately dumping on off. I knew right when ALQA started spiking again that, TNXP just wasn't going to get it. And since TNXP wasn't going to get it, that's where I had to, say to myself, okay, you're probably taking a loss on this play. But there's many ways you can take a loss. You can either limit your loss or you can just get out and take a big loss. And I wanted to limit my loss. I wanted to make it as small as possible. So, TNXP right here, this play waited up to 450. Hey, Dek, why didn't you wait for a break of 450? Because, again, it's easy to say that now. But at that time, we don't know if it's going to break 450. We don't know if it's going to hit 450 and then crash all the way back down to 350. It's up at 450. That's right next to my entry. If I can lose, 80 bucks, 90 bucks, 10 bucks, hey, I'll try to get out there. I try to get out at that 450 mark. I got out a little bit lower in the 430s. Took a 200 buck loss. Again, not really ruining my account by any means. Still up good. But, I did, come out red on the day. So I took a chance on TNXP. Why? Because the float, the reverse stock split, I know how big those can run. The amount of room it can run. Unfortunately, just couldn't get the volume. Why? All the volume was over on ALQA. Volume stayed on ALQA. And now ALQA is setting itself up in what? A beautiful channel pattern, right? Not only does it have the ascending triangle pattern here, went on a nice rip, we also see what? The beautiful channel pattern that could be ripping coming on up in the next few minutes. We have our third touch breakout coming on up. So if we look at it, let's get it right here. So we look at this, we would have our one touch right here. I would say this would be our two touch. Then we're looking for our third touch to come on up. 1, 2, 3, breakout. And that's why we were able to alert, an easy bounce play right at 385, right? We said 385, best bounce play area. What did the stock do? Spiked all the way up to 468, 470. Beautiful. So with that being said, ALQA, was that a solid play today? Yes, very solid. Am I mad I took a chance on TNXP? No, not at all. I'm not mad at all. I'm happy I took that trade. I had a plan on it. I got in on reasonings. It didn't work out. Hey, you know what? That's stock trading. You limit your loss, you move on to another play. I'm 6 for 8 with my trading. Right? I know I'm going to win more. I know I'm going to win more than I lose. But the best thing is I didn't let this loss affect me. What do I always say, guys? The stock market, guess what? It's like a big dating app. You know what? I went on a date with TNXP, and I realized that girl was toxic, right? I realized all that girl wanted me was she just wanted all my money, right? TNXP just started taking my money. And I said, I don't really like her. ALQA seems like a nicer girl. All right. So, or again, if you're a girl, you can reverse it to a guy standards. Again, whoever the heck I'm talking to right now. You guys know who you are. So, that's where I'm currently at. But ALQA, great play. Nice ascending triangle pattern. Nice channel pattern right here starting to form. And the stock that has the most activity, the stock that has the big volume, the stock that has the mob towards it, guess what? That's going to be the stock that has the most predictability. TNXP just got too choppy. It got too choppy, too risky. I was more just fighting my way out of that play, right? So ALQA, great job. TNXP, little loss today. We'll still keep it on watch. But yep, and then other than that, we're still going to keep our eyes peeled on top gainers such as ANY, ASNS. Keep that on watch for tomorrow. As always, team, giving you guys your big boy shout outs. We had a couple big ones today over in chat, as you guys know. $800, absolutely awesome. $1,300 ALQA. And again, what makes me so happy is so many of you guys banked on ALQA, which is absolutely great to see. So a couple of big ones as well. I believe the biggest one right here, $3,938 on ASNS. So that was absolutely great. So shout out to you guys. Great work. So awesome job. Excited to see what the future holds. Doesn't seem like I'm going to hit my monthly goal, but at the same time, I'm still green, I'm still growing, and just making sure I turn every single loss into a lesson. Every loss is a lesson. A loss is not a failure. A loss is something to take and learn from it. So, that's what I want to do every single time. Awesome work today. Excited to see what the future holds.